for this session this evening. I'm overly excited to be here as it promises to be an interesting evening. Can I get you all to use any emoji of your choice to show how excited you are to be here? Can I get a comment? Thank you. I can see love emoji. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much. I need more. I need more. I saw just one. I need more to show how excited we are to be here and how prepared we are for this evening session. Yes, mine. Okay, I want to also use this opportunity to advise everyone to kindly mute your mic so we not have any interference from your end while the session is ongoing. Thank you. Thank you, Vivian, for muting your mic. So once again, I welcome you all. This evening's event is hosted by Brighten and Build It Things Foundation. It is actually to commemorate the World Health Day. This year, our focus is on the theme, what your symptoms tell you about your health. This is a topic that encourages us to actually listen more closely to our bodies and better understand the signals they send us every day. Like the saying goes, health is wealth. Only a healthy person will be able to function adequately in other areas of his or her life. So as a moderator, I'll guide you through this engaging session where our esteemed speakers who are experts in their field will throw more insights on how symptoms can serve as valuable clues about our physical health and mental health, actually. We will explore how timely responses and informed decision-making can significantly improve health outcomes and overall quality of our life. So kindly pay attention as we are about to get started. I know our speakers are actually on standby, ready to dish out a power-packed session this evening. Once again, I welcome you all. So now let's get started. Our first speaker this evening is Farida Suleiman. Let me quickly read up her profile. It's coming. Sorry, just a moment. Okay, can you all see my screen? I just need one emoji to show us if you can see the screen. So meet our first speaker for today, Farida Suleiman. Farida Suleiman is also known as the Pad Girl. Also known as the Pad Girl, is a passionate sexual and reproductive health and rights SPHR advocate dedicated to empowering young girls, especially in public schools, and how to reach communities across Nigeria and Africa. She's the executive director of Teen Lead Nigeria, the organizers of the Teen Lead and Life project, driving change at the intersection of health, leadership, and entrepreneurship. She serves as a member of the Global UNICEF Generation Unlimited Young People Action Team and the UNFPA Young People Participatory Team. Farida Suleiman is the CEO of Farida Royal Apparel. Through her advocacy, Farida has established pad banks in schools across 3 states in Nigeria, reaching over 15,000 young girls with education on sexual health, leadership, and entrepreneurship. Farida Suleiman is an award-winning SRHR advocate, streaming awards at every Impact Made, with awards for the most innovative projects for youth civic engagement and the NYSC Presidential Award. Wow. Farida Suleiman is open to speaking engagements and learning opportunities across Nigeria, Africa, and the globe. Wow. Let's give it up for our first speaker. Need us all to use our favorite emoji to welcome her as she takes the stage. Welcome to our first speaker, Farida Suleiman. She will be taking us on the topic, my menstrual health and rights. Let's give it up for Farida Suleiman as she comes up. I need us all to react to our favorite emoji. I'm not seeing them. Please keep it coming as we welcome Farida. So Farida Suleiman, you have the floor. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much, Juliet. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And I also want to thank the team for putting up this awesome program. Thank you so much, everyone that is present on this call. And I want to let you know that I celebrate you. If you can hear me, you can just thumbs up or react to your favorite emoji. And please, if you are not muted, you can mute. Thank you so much. Welcome. Once again, you are special, your health matters, and that is why we are here. So the topic before us this evening is my menstrual health and rights, debunking myths, ending stigma, and empowering young girls and community for change. Such a very, very big topic. So I hope by the end of this meeting, you are able to learn what health is, what human rights are, what menstruation is, and explain the concept of menstrual health and rights. So I need you to pay close attention to learn these 4 things. What is health in general? What is menstrual health? What are my rights as a girl? As a woman, what are my rights? And what is menstrual health? So these are key terms I need you to take home and I need you to learn as we continue in this study. So first, I would like to test our knowledge. You can just drop your comments in the chat box. I really need this session to be very interactive as much as possible. So the first thing we are going to be talking about is health. What is health? We are all celebrating World Health Day. So what is health? That's why we are here. We are gathered here. So even if we don't know, we are going to learn. So you can drop in the comment section your knowledge about health, what you know about health. What is health in general? I'll pause for you while to get feedback. And I would love to know, Mrs. Juliet, I would love to know how many minutes I have so I can keep track of my time.
Okay, you have 25 minutes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll be
25
very
minutes.
fast. All right, thank you. Thank you so much. So I think I'll just start. What is health? So according to World Health Organization, health means the complete physical, social well-being of a person. Take note of it. When you are okay physically, when you are okay mentally, and when you are okay socially, it is said that you are healthy. When those three things are in check, your physical health, your mental health, and then your social well-being is okay. Physical in the terms that you can sleep well, there's no discomfort. Mentally, you don't struggle with esteem issues, you are confident, and you don't have low esteem. Then when we talk about your social well-being, you can start up a conversation, you can talk, and not you don't fidget when you are talking, you have relationship with people. So when those three things are in check, it is said that your health is okay. So it is not just the absence of illness or any disease. So it is the presence of your physical, your mental, and your social well-being. I hope we get that definition. Yes. So the next one is human rights. Human rights. So what is human rights? So human rights are basic rights that we are supposed to enjoy as human from birth until death. Our rights we are supposed to enjoy. You can just list some of the rights in the comment section so it will be interactive. These are things we are supposed to enjoy. Even though in some states some persons don't enjoy this rights, that's another topic for another day. So we have right to life, freedom of association, right to religion, right to association. Yes, I can see Juliet. Thank you so much. Right to life. So we have a number of it. So these are rights we are supposed to enjoy, our civic rights. Despite your tribe, your religion, or where you're coming from, these are basic rights we are supposed to enjoy. I'm going somewhere, that's why I'm defining it gradually. So then, what is menstruation? What is menstruation? So menstruation is the monthly or regular flow of blood from the uterus. Okay, let me remove the uterus from your vagina. Menstruation is the monthly flow of blood from your vagina, and it's usually from 3 to 7 days, on rare occasions 2 to 7 days. And your monthly cycles can be from 21 to 35 days, a normal monthly cycle for menstruation. So that is what menstruation is. And mind you, menstruation is as a result of unfertilized egg. So it is those eggs that are not fertilized that comes out as blood from your uterus every month. And a lady from 10, 12 can start seeing menstruation. And when you start menstruating, it means your body is being, you can get pregnant. Your body is being prepared to get pregnant. So those unfertilized eggs are usually comes during your ovulation. That's a big topic on its own. Usually comes during your ovulation. So those unfertilized eggs are what comes as blood every month. So menstruation is beautiful. It's what makes us females, what makes you a woman, what makes you a girl, what makes you a mother. So sometimes when your body is not producing that blood, and you know that you've not slept with any man, or you are okay, you tend to get worried. So menstruation should not make you troubled. Menstruation is a normal phenomenon that every woman should enjoy, every girl child should enjoy. So menstruation is beautiful. So that is menstruation. So now the concept of menstrual health. What is menstrual health? Menstruation is different from health. Menstruation is a term on its own. Health is a term on its own. That's why I defined it separately. So now, what is menstrual health? I hope I'm not too fast. What is menstrual health? So menstrual health is the state whereby you are physically, you are mentally, and you are socially okay when menstruating. I'll take that again. Menstrual health is a state. Menstrual health is when you are physically, mentally, and socially okay when menstruating. Physical, when I mean physical, it means you have access to clean pads, you have access to pants to wear when menstruating, you have access to clean water, you have access to clean toilets, you have access to all your sanitary material. That is physical. Okay, so when you have those things, that is the physical aspect of your menstrual life, your menstrual health is being taken care of. So now moving to the mental part. So when you are not emotionally disturbed, you are not worried, you are not facing any anxiety whatsoever, you are not scared, you are not scared to discuss your, you're not scared to see blood in the midst of people, and then you get shy, you get anxious, you are scared to be judged by people. So when that part is checked, it is said that you have a very healthy emotional menstrual health. So now the third one, social well-being. Social well-being is when you are able to, just like they kind of relate with the mental, when you are able to relate with your friends about your menstruation, you are able to tell them what your menstruation feels like, how your cramps are, how your body, your immune system is. So that is your social well-being, when you are able to help your friend to calculate our period and all of that. That is said to be social well-being. So menstrual health in general is when you are okay physically, mentally, and socially during menstruation. When you know how to manage your cramps, when the pain is not hindering you from having your other activity, it's not hindering you from going to school, hindering you from going to work. You have a care center that takes care of you when menstruating. That is menstrual health. When you are not thinking about any psychological effect it will have on you, any pain, you know how to manage cramps, you know how to manage everything. That is menstrual health. I hope you are following. If you are following, you can just give me a thumbs up, so I'll know I'm not talking to myself. So now, talking about menstrual rights. So these are rights that applies specifically to menstruation. Menstrual rights are rights that apply specifically on menstruation. Remember, we have civic rights, our human rights, right to life, right to religion, right to freedom of association. So those are our fundamental human rights that we are supposed to enjoy. But now, menstrual rights, I need you to get this very well. Menstrual rights, these are human rights that apply specifically to menstruation. So what are these menstrual rights? Access to dignity, access to sanitary material, access to entrepreneurship skills for girls, and then right to knowledge. Right to knowledge. So when you have these are the rights. So when you are informed, it's a right on its own. Some ladies do not know how to take care of themselves when they are on their period, when they are menstruating, and it's not really good for your menstrual health. So I've in my years of advocacy talking to young girls in school, I found out that some of these young girls are very, very vulnerable because they lack information. Their teachers in school can easily bully them because they saw blood, they are stained. And mind you, it's not just a male teacher that bully girls in school. Even the female teacher also make them feel like they are rejected when they have seen their blood. So that is that. So I hope you now understand the concept of health, menstruation, menstrual rights, and then menstrual health. So if you understand all those terms, you can just give me a thumbs up. Thank you so much. I know that. Thank you so much. I can see thumbs up. So this is just a preamble, and I hope we learn a lot. So there are 4 things I want you to learn from this class. Your menstrual right. These are things you don't joke with. These are things you are supposed to enjoy as a female and as a woman. And mind you, the boys are not exempted, men are not exempted. So in my advocacy, I always try to bring boys in the cycle to ensure that they fight against stigma for ladies and for women. So you need to know these things so you can teach. Thank you so much. So now let's talk about menstrual health gaps. Menstrual health gaps. So what are the menstrual health gaps? So if you know any menstrual health gaps, you can just leave it in the comment section. Menstrual health gaps. There are a lot of menstrual health gaps that are faced, especially in the northern region in Nigeria. A lot of gaps. So if you know, you can just leave it in the comment section. So number one that I have here is policy gaps. Policy gaps. So oftentimes policies are being postulated. People, they come up with policies, but the policies will not even will not be passed as bill. It will not be approved. So I think there's this policy of the National Policy on Menstruation Health and Hygiene Management 2025 to 2030. But I don't think it's not, in reality, it's not working. It's just there. So these are the gaps. I need you to also research about it. There's also this federal tax exemption. If you all could remember, 2020 during the lockdown, our president Buhari, he enacted this, and he said production people that are producing menstrual pads, that tax should be removed from the production. But this tax did not really hold water, because the cost of production, they did not cover the cost of production. They just removed tax from it. So it did not really go anywhere. So these are gaps you need to know about your country. But a country called Kenya, their menstrual health hygiene management is working from 2019 to 2030. You can research. So they've been able to inculcate wash in the school curriculum. But in reality, here in Nigeria, God will help us, because that is what we are advocating for. Teen Lead Nigeria, BBT for Bright and Build Foundation, that is what they are advocating for. So hopefully we are getting there. So that is what we are advocating for. That is why in our advocacy we try to give young people pads and sanitary material. Remember, those are your rights. Those are what you are supposed to have. When a girl is being baited, immediately she owes nature. Immediately, like instantly, she owes nature, because 10 years, 12 years, she'll start menstruating and she'll start buying pads. So these are things that we are supposed to get free. Free pads, free sanitary hygiene management, care centers. These are our rights. So hopefully this policy gaps is going to one day we are going to overcome it, and hopefully we will get there. So these are the policy gaps we face. Also, financial gaps. So there's no budgetary allocation for females, for girls, for sanitary pads. But we thank God for NGOs that are trying to do their best. So these are menstrual gaps. There's no budgetary allocation, financial allocation whatsoever from the government. They try, but at the final stage, it doesn't just get approved. So these are the gaps. So hopefully that is why we are teaching today, because I know you and I can make the difference we need. Also, knowledge gaps. Knowledge gaps. So the knowledge gaps now is something we need to tackle immediately. That is where we have this wrong myths flying around, myths and taboo flying around among ladies, among females. I hear people say menstruation is a dirty blood. Menstruation, if you know any myth, you can just put it, any myth, any taboo, you can just put it in the chat box. So this knowledge gap, under this knowledge gap, that is where we have this myth and taboo. And myth is what leads to stigmatization. And when you keep quiet about a myth, it grows, and you get used to it. You think is acceptable. So we shouldn't keep quiet about the myths and taboo. So if you know any, the chat box, you can leave it in the chat box, any myths that you've come across. There's one I usually hear: menstruation is a dirty blood. Menstruation is not dirty blood. Menstruation is totally natural. It's a biological process of every girl and every woman. It is meant to be enjoyed. It is meant to be enjoyed. So I think there was a month I missed my menses, and I was so worried. I was very, very worried. Very, 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 very worried. So it happened that I had hormonal balance. So that's why I missed it. So menstruation is something natural. Very, very natural. So please enjoy your menstruation. Nobody should tell you that it is a bad blood. If you don't see it, you get worried. So please enjoy your menstruation. It is not dirty blood. So another myth is they said when you bathe with cold water when you are menstruating, you are not going to get fertile. That is a lie from the pit of hell. I think we have our nurse here. She's going to teach us more about that. How will I'm menstruating, so I bathe with cold water now, I will not get fertile? How? Like there's no scientific proof anywhere that bathing with cold water will make you infertile. So that's a lie. So these are gaps we need to bridge. These are gaps we need to seriously bridge. So that is why webinars like this are very important for you to attend, and for you to take out this knowledge you are learning to other persons outside, in order for you to be the change your community need. So these are wrong myths. So another myth is period blood. I don't know if you have heard this one. No. This one is really, really funny, that period blood attracts evil spirits. I don't understand. When someone told me this, I was dumbfounded. How would period blood attract evil spirits? Like how? Period blood is just natural blood coming out of my vagina, my uterus. So how does it attract evil spirits? So I think there's a church that up till now, there's a place of worship that up till now, when you are menstruating, you don't enter into the temple or atmosphere of the worship center. It's like a bad luck or something. So these are things we need to go away from. These are archaic culture. So menstruation does not attract evil spirits. It is natural, biological. Enjoy it. Enjoy your menstruation. So if you have other myths you would like to share with us, so you can help us with it in the chat box. So these are myths that we need to take our eyes off it. And there's another myth again. I heard from someone that menstruation is only a woman issue. If you agree that menstruation is only a woman's issue, just leave. I don't know. Leave in the comment box true or false. If you agree it is only a woman's issue, leave in the comment section true or false. For me, it is not a woman's issue. It is, thank you, Juliet. It is not a woman's issue. That is where the problem is coming from. Our guys don't want to learn. Our men don't want to learn. So this is when we exclude men and boys, they miss the opportunity to understand and learn about this natural process, our menstruation and all of that. So please, menstruation is not just a woman issue, it is everybody's issue. Together we'll fight it. So thank you very much. So moving forward, my time is almost up. So addressing this right now, since menstruation is natural for young girls and women, so young girls and women should not be burdened with the financial implication of managing their health alone. So that is where I come in the picture as the pad girl advocate. That is why I create pad banks for girls in schools. That is why Build and Brighten Teens Foundation creates this seminar and are also advocating for young girls in school, creating pad banks, creating sanitary material. So every young girl have right to affordable menstrual kits, right to decent care and attention, right to adequate job and entrepreneurship skill, and right to knowledge. This knowledge part is very, 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 very important. I could remember when I saw my menstruation the first time, I think I was 12-ish. Yes, I was in JSS2 and I had little clue. I was shy. I was not mentally okay. I was not mentally okay for it. When I saw it, I was in class. I had to go out to the bathroom to check what is happening. When I saw it, when I returned to the class, instead of me to sit down on my seat, I just knelt down under my desk because I did not want to stain my uniform and I did not want my classmates to know, because I did not want to be the talk of the class for a month or for a week. So knowledge issue is very, very important. So we need to, that is why we are here to educate people. Menstruation is not a bad thing. It's not a stigma. You should be free when menstruating and you should be able to share. You should be able to share what you are facing and all. For me now, I can go and buy pad and not even put it inside the black nylon. I will hold it and be working now. I now know better that I should be proud of myself, proud of my messes. I can talk to a crowd of people about menstruation, talk to them about sex, and I'm not shy. So this is how it ought to be. Okay, this is how it ought to be. So every female should enjoy these rights for themselves. When you enjoy these rights, it is favorable for the economy and the world globally. So I want to advise everyone to be okay when menstruating and don't be shy about anything. So I'm concluding already before Mrs. Juliet cuts me short. So I want to tell a story about myself. The topic says again, my menstrual health and rights, debunking myths, ending stigmas, and empowering girls for community for change. So, having talked about our rights, what our rights are, we now know that we have the right to have access to menstrual kits, we have the right to have entrepreneurship skills, we have the right to be accepted, we have the right to dignity, and we have the right to have access to all sanitary products. This is our right. And this is what we at Tilly Nigeria, this is what Farida Suleiman is all out to advocate for young girls and young women, for them to have a healthy menstrual life, for them to be physically ready, emotionally ready, and socially ready. I hope we're learning a whole lot. So if you are not okay physically when menstruating, your menstrual health is not okay. So now, this is what we do. So I know that you might be sitting there and you are wondering, Farida is doing this, Farida is doing that. you don't need an NGO or a lot of money. All you need to do is to get up, help that young girl that is struggling with this knowledge you've learned today. Go to that school, teach them about menstruation. With the knowledge you've gotten here now, I know you can broadly talk about menstruation, how to maintain health when menstruating. It's very simple. Make sure you change your pad 3 to 4 hours. Make sure you take your baths at least 2 times a day. Make sure you wash your panties. Make sure you are clean, and make sure you don't repeat pads. If you don't have money to buy pad, you can use reusable. I think our nurse is here. She's going to teach us more about that. So I am an advocate that love to talk on girls and rights. So this is what we do. So you can join us to be that change your community need. You don't need a lot of funds. I know how I started without anything. I can use my break money, gift money, buy parts, buy books, buy pen, go to school, teach them about what menstrual health is, what sex is, and at the end of the day, they are very, very happy. So you can start, change starts with you. The little change starts with you. I know how I started this advocacy just at a very, I did not even know that it's going to earn me awards and reward. While I was serving, I was still volunteering. I got into a fellowship. I was the most innovative, and I was awarded, and the award came with a lot of gifts. The gifts, I used it again. I did not just keep those. I think I got 10 mattress from that award, and I got a supply of pad. I did not keep it to myself. I still use that supplies to do another project for my NYC project that earned me the presidential award. And that award did not just come cheap. It came with a job, and it also came with a scholarship. So you too can be the change your community need. And I'm also advocating for young girls in school for pad bank to be created. And we've done that across 3 different states. Yes, we've created pad banks. So right now we are working on making reusable pants for young girls. So I just hope all these things I've said, you can take it back to your community and be the change you want to see. And be the change you want to see. So think if you have any question for me, you can just leave it in the chat box. Yes, and I hope we've learned from the little I've said. Mrs. Juliet, hope I'm not eating into your time.
You actually you've had like 4 minutes. Well, you're already in the next session, which is question and answer session. So we're running off by 7:46.
Okay, I think I'm done. So if there's any question, you can call me now.
Okay. Thank you, Farida Suleiman, for that power-packed session. We are so grateful to have you. In fact, I learned a lot. Menstrual health is when you are physically, mentally, and socially okay when you are menstruating. I never knew we had menstrual rights. Wow. So menstrual rights include right to adequate job and entrepreneurship skills, right to knowledge, right to free sanitary materials. Oh my God. Right to dignity, a whole lot to learn. I guess we all have learned one thing or two. Just like Ms. Farida said, be the change the community needs. Give out of the very little you have. Menstruation myths, like you said, leads to stigmatization. I actually remember one myth I heard sometime, and the woman was like, oh, I wanted to get some leaves. And she was like, no, don't go and cut it yourself, please. You're still menstruating. Someone that is not yet in her menopause should not be cutting leaves, this particular leaf, because once you cut it, you stop the growth. It kills the plant. I'm like, wow, in this age and century. I just laughed at her, all of these myths, if they actually stopped, it will actually go a long way to help our girls, because we're actually going through a lot. So you still have like 3 minutes for questions. Anyone with your question, you can quickly drop them in the chat box. Ms. Farida is still here to help us with the questions. If you have any question, you can just drop them in the chat box, or you can actually unmute to ask a question in case you may not be able to be fast enough to type it. Any question? We'll have like 3 minutes more to take your questions. Okay. Okay, we have a question in the box, and this question says, at what age does one stop menstruation? At what age does one stop menstruation? So Miss Farida, please, can help us with that.
All right. Thank you so much for that wonderful question. So it actually depends on your body. Yes, it actually depends on your body. So research says you can stop menstruating at the age of 45 to 55. That is what research put it as menopause, 44 to 45. 44 to, from 45 years to 55 age, 55 years. That is when your menopause starts. So, but then it differs. You can have heard, our bodies are different, and we have a very, I'm a Christian, and I've heard of testimonies of women in their 50s, and I also heard of testimony someone 55 years like having been pregnant. So God can do anything, but then research put it at that 45 to 55, that is when menopause starts. So I hope you understand.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So we have just one more question. I think we'll quickly take that before our time is finally up. So this next question says, how does menstruation affect menopause?
All right. Menstruation, when you are menstruating, it means your body is ready. The first, when you see menstruation, it means those unfertilized eggs are products of your are products of those those your menstruation are a product of unfertilized eggs. So when you are not menstruating, it means you can't get pregnant. A woman's body releases eggs monthly, regularly, release egg monthly, and then a man's sperms can fertilize those eggs. The sperms of a man can fertilize those eggs. So if the sperm does not fertilize the eggs, it then means it's going to flow out as blood. So your question is, how does menstruation, if you don't menstruate, it means you are not going to ovulate. When your body release eggs just once in a month, we call it ovulation, but then your fertile period is just for like 6 days. So we have your body, like your menstrual cycle, you have the wet days, you have the dry days, and you have your fertile period. Your wet days is your menstrual period. Your dry days is your free days. You cannot get pregnant at that point. And then your fertile period, your ovulation is included, and it's mostly from, let's say at most 7 days or 6 days. and your ovulation does not start immediately after your dry period. It can be even the last day of the fertile period. So when your body releases eggs those period, so if those eggs are not fertilized, that is what comes out as blood. So now, if you are not ovulating, it then means you can't get pregnant. So for the menopause now, your body stops, like completely stops releasing eggs. So if your body stop releasing eggs, it then means it's like it's over for reproduction. So your blood signify that yes, you are productive, you are fertile, especially when you're ovulating. It means you are fertile, you're ovulating, and all those things are going on in your body. But when you're at your menopause, it takes the grace of God. I'm a Christian, and so I know what God can do. So basically 45 to 55 years menopause, but our God is the Almighty God. He can do what he chooses to do. So if you are not menstruating, but if you are not within that menopause age, it might be you might have some hormonal changes in your body. That is why you are not seeing your menstruation, or you are not ovulating. You might have PCOS. You might have some kind of the nurse here will explain better. So I don't know if I've answered your question well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Farida, for this wonderful session. So grateful. So our time is far gone, so we need to move on to our next speaker. Yeah, okay, she said yes, answer, thank you. Got a response there. So thank you so much, Farida. Hoping to call you back soon for another enlightening session, because I know there are so many things to still talk about. Thank you so much for today. So now let's move on to our next speaker for today. Okay, sorry, I'm coming. Our next speaker for today is Omoniyi Christiana Okpemipo. Omoniyi Christiana Okpemipo. Let me quickly read up her profile. Okay. Omoniyi Christiana Okpemipo is currently working as a registered nurse in one of the teaching hospitals in Nigeria. However, her vision extends beyond nursing as she aspires to explore new horizons and make a difference in the world. With a strong belief in her faith as a child of God, Omoniyi Christiana Okpemipo fearlessly embraces her dreams of entrepreneurship. She has found her calling as a baker and pastry coach, using her venture called Prime Food Creations as a platform to create exquisite cakes and pastries of the highest quality. Beyond crafting delectable treats, she is on a mission to support fellow bakers and individuals facing challenges in the pastry industry. By offering guidance and clarity, she helps them realize their own aspirations in the world of pastries. Looking ahead, Omoniyi Christiana Okpemipo envisions building a community of like-minded creative women who share her hunger for personal growth and becoming the best version of themselves. So today, Omoniyi Christiana Okpemipo will be taking us on the topic Beyond the Numbers, Understanding High and Low Blood Pressure. Let's make her welcome with our favorite emoji. Welcome, Ms. Okpemipo.
Thank
Christiana.
you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Miss Juliet, for the warm welcome. Thank you, everyone, for being in attendance tonight. So, and yes, thank you, Miss Farida, for that enlightening session concerning menstrual health and all of those things that you mentioned. Thank you so much. And one thing I was able to pick from what you said was when you were talking about the policy gaps, how pads should be free, that should be like a major project from the federal government, if we are being honest. I know every woman here would agree with me. So moving on, Christiana Okwemposi has introduced earlier, and I'll be taking us on blood pressure beyond the numbers, understanding high and low blood pressure. Please let me know if you are here. You can react, comment. This is going to be a very interactive session. And whether you like it or not, blood pressure is not gender limited, it's not gender based. So it can happen to everybody, every human has blood pressure, right? So it can be high, it can be low. So this affects everyone. So let me see your comments, let me see your reactions if you are following. Yeah, I think I'm seeing some reactions. All right, let's move on. How many of us here knows what blood pressure is? Like the general understanding of blood pressure. You know what blood pressure means, just react. Or you can type yes in the chat. Just type yes in the chat. Please, I want to be sure you are following. Just type yes. If you know what blood pressure is. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I think I have seen only one yes. We're about 12 or 11 minus me in this class, and I'm seeing just one yes. Okay. So, okay. Thank you. I've seen your yes. I want to be sure that we are following. We all know what blood pressure means, right? But I'm going to give you like a more explanatory and medical term what blood pressure is, right? Now, at the end of this class, you are going to understand what blood pressure means and not just the layman understanding. You are going to understand your numbers. What are these numbers? Sometimes you hear 120, 80, 150 this, one that. You don't understand what exactly it means, right? So I'm going to be giving a detailed explanation what these numbers mean, be it high, be it low. Are we together? So how do I stay informed on my numbers? What do you do when you figure out is this number high, is this number low? And what should you be doing if your blood pressure is even normal and all of those things, right? So the first thing we are going to be looking at is blood pressure, the meaning. So blood pressure, I'm going to read from my notes here to be clear. Blood pressure is the force of blood pushing against artery walls. So these artery walls, you can imagine it in your head as pipes. You know, we all have kitchen pipes, bathroom pipes, so these arteries, they are like pipes that there is blood inside. Are we together? So the walls of that arteries, your heart is pumping blood against it in your through your body. Are we together? Are we together? Please let me know if we are together. Just type yes. Whenever I say are we together, just type yes to be sure that you are following. To be sure that we are following. All right. So the normal range for blood pressure is 120/80 for an average adult. 120/80. So the 120 is the systolic. I'm trying not to confuse you here. The 120 is the systolic and 80 is the diastolic. It is measured in millimeter of mercury. So sometimes, I don't know if you've been to hospitals where you see certain units like mmHg, HG rather. So the mm means millimeter for the systolic and HD, HG rather. It is measured in millimeter of mercury. So sometimes in some young adults, their BP can be 100, 70, as the case may be. It's still normal. Now, where you should be worried is when your BP is higher than 129. That's the systolic. The systolic is the upper part. So whenever you want to remember systolic and systolic is up, diastolic is down. Systolic, diastolic, more like numerator and denominator. Exactly. So there are some young adults, for people like age range 18 to 20 something, as the case may be, their BP might be 100, 70, can be lower. But now there is what we call hypotension. We have hypertension. Hypertension is when your blood pressure is high, right? So when your blood pressure is high, when your systolic is higher than 129, so anything from 130, and above is hypertension, no matter the age. Anything from 130 above for your systolic is hypertension, and that is elevated blood pressure. And anything lower than 90/60 is hypotension. Hypertension is more common because it happens in, most times it's common in older people, elderly people, and all of those things. But nowadays, there are young adults with high blood pressure. And I will tell you what causes high blood pressure, because a lot of times there are conceptions about, oh, it's only other people that have high blood pressure. Why is a young person having high blood pressure? A lot of things that I can't begin to mention. So now we are going to take the two types of group for hypertension. So we'll be dealing with hypertension first. So there is the controllable hypertension, when you have to control. Okay, let me put it this way. There is controllable blood pressure. This one, you are in charge, you can control it. Then there is uncontrollable blood pressure. Are we together? So these two categories is dependent on different factors. Are we together? So for the controllable, how do you control your BP? How do you control your BP if it is normal, or it is on the high side, or it is lower? For those that are hypertensive, you need to watch your sodium. And sodium can come in form of salt intake. If you've noticed, if you have an elderly person around you that has high blood pressure, you will notice the doctor would say, reduce your salt intake, cut down on sugar, on processed foods, as the case may be. So less sodium, that's less salt intake. You eat more vegetables and diet. And I know that these days there are a lot of remote workers, people that they sit at home. They're always on one spot. You will be on one spot from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m., as the case may be, even 9 to 5 hours that they do office work and all of those things. So it is part of what we call sedentary lifestyle. So you sitting in one position from every single day, Monday to Friday, for 8 hours, is not doing your heart any good. So that is when exercise comes in, regular exercise. And for those that smoke, see, you're not doing yourself any good at all. Smoking, obesity, there's what we call, you maintain a healthy weight. There's what we call, what is it called now? Obesity. It is in gradual stages. There's what we call BMI. BMI is knowing if you have a healthy weight. There's a way to calculate that. It's just basically your weight over your height raised to power 2. After the class, I can teach us how to calculate your BMI. Your BMI is just a chart, it's just a calculation to figure out if you have a healthy weight or if you don't. It's as simple as that. So obesity can also cause hypertension, because for someone that is obese, that person can obviously not carry his or herself. Then you are giving your heart more work to do, because naturally your heart is pumped from the day we were born up until the day we will die. Your heart is working 24 hours. There is no break, there is no rest, nothing. If your heart takes a break, that means the person is gone. So there is no break, there is no me time. Your heart is on automatic 24/7 working. So the best way to just take care of this heart is doing what would help the heart. It's just like a machine. So you have to oil a machine. So how do you help your heart? Regular exercise, diet, more vegetables, more fruits, as the case may be. Then there is a lot of times for younger people, it is not age now. This one is not about age. It is stress that causes high blood pressure. We've had a case where a 24-year-old had an hypertensive emergency. A 24-year-old, imagine a 24-year-old with the BP 170, 180, 110 as the blood pressure. And we had to ask this patient questions after he was calm and he was being taken care of. What happened? What are you doing? Only to figure out that this particular patient was doing about 3 jobs at a time. The funny thing, should I shock you? The funny thing is this patient was a nurse. So he would finish a shift, go to another hospital for another shift. Imagine me finishing one morning shift and then going for 9 shifts in another hospital. Then I don't get to sleep all through the night. Then back to the same hospital I left in the morning to do another shift. Please tell me how that person's blood pressure will not be high. So those are the things. And these things, they are under our control. That's why they are called controllable things that you can do. You are in charge now. You are in charge of how your blood pressure works, whether it is high, whether it is low. And please keep it at the back of your mind that your blood pressure normal range is 120/80, and it can be lower but not extremely lower, because hypotension is as dangerous as hypertension. Please, are we clear? Hypertension, hypotension is as dangerous as hypertension. Now, we are moving on to uncontrollable. So, the part where you know that this BP is not my diet, oh, I'm exercising, oh, everything is working fine. So, what is it that I cannot control about this BP? Number one is old age, because whether we like it or not, I think I read a research recently that says that from the day we were born up until the day we die, our organs, they start deteriorating. So it is what you do to take care of the organs that makes it last longer. I will take that again. From the day we were born to the day we will die, our organs, when you hear organ failure, in most cases, it's not like the organ just failed suddenly. It was a gradual process. So when we say exercise, your diet, your this, your that, is your way of servicing every organ in your body by taking care of them. Are we together? Please, I need to know we are following. Are we together? Okay, thank you. So these things that we say, oh, diet, don't stay in one place, walk around, this, it's just a way of, it's just the way you service your car. That's your own way of servicing your body, taking care of the organs God gave you. Now, for the uncontrollable, I mentioned older people. So aging is a natural phenomenon, and there is every high tendency that every elderly person would have high blood pressure, even though some elderly people don't have high blood pressure. And I feel like sometimes it's highly dependent on how they lived their lives as a young person. And sometimes some people don't just have it. It is fine if an elderly person does not have high blood pressure. So that brings us to family history. Now, if you are a teenager or in your 20s or 30s, as the case may be, this is the time to look out for patterns in your family. You notice one uncle or even your own parents, you notice that, oh, at a certain age, their blood pressure is always high. Or maybe they have certain cardiovascular disease, diabetes, heart failure, or you heard one uncle died of heart failure, or one uncle died of liver failure or kidney failure, a lot of things like that. This is time to ask questions. You don't just ask people don't just ask questions about who is who. Ask them, oh, this person that they said died at 40, what happened? This person that they said, oh, died at 50, what happened to the person? You're not finding out because, oh, for curiosity's sakes. You are also finding out to know, oh, this person is my family, related to me by blood. What are the things I should look out for early on in life? So if you notice there's a pattern of hypertension in your family, this is see, from your 20s, mid 20s, you should start checking your BP, not out of fear, but out of knowing what you should be doing in terms of taking care of yourself, your organs, and healthy living. So if you notice, oh, there is a heart disease that this person died of heart disease, this time start checking your BP, and the earlier the better. In fact, you might even take care of yourself so well that at old age you will not need any BP drugs, because BP drugs are now like PCM, like paracetamol for elderly ones. It's now a normal thing. Hardly would you see an elderly person that is not on BP drugs or that is not on anti-diabetic drugs. Is that bad? But now in our age, we are more informed, we are more enlightened. So if you come to this class and the only thing you are able to get from this class is, oh, these are precautions I need to take even before I start growing old, then I think you've done something well for yourself. So moving on, like I said there is controllable, there is uncontrollable. Yeah, so, and I mentioned the things that you should be doing to stay healthy, like diet, exercise, fruits, vegetables, a lot of things, walk around. If you know you're a 9 to 5, sometimes, whether in the morning or in the evening, 30 minutes stroll a day will do some good for your heart. It will help your heart. So now, what should you do even when your blood pressure is normal? What should you do? The same thing. Because I feel like you don't have to wait for an illness to happen to you before you make healthy living, healthy diet your lifestyle. It is what you sow that you would reap in your old age. It's as simple as that. Have you noticed a trend now? If you go on Instagram, there are a lot of people that are clocking 40, 50 nowadays. Hear me?
Yes, can hear you now. Please go on.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So I would cite an example of that's this celebrity, Adesua Etomi. That woman, she takes, it's not even takes, fitness is like a lifestyle. That woman has had 2 kids, right? I mean, it's not okay if everybody might not snatch back, have the slim waist and all of those things. But fitness, diet is not about when your tummy is flat, you have a slim snatched body. No, it's about taking care of yourself. That woman clocked 40 recently, and a lot of people were like, are you sure this woman is 40? See Kate Henshaw. That woman, I don't even know what her age is. I don't know. I think she clocked 50 something recently. I don't know. But if you saw that woman outside without knowing her age, you would think she's a young person. Are we clear? So you're an entrepreneur, you're a student, you're a 9 to 5 worker. Please inculcate these habits in your life, like make it a lifestyle that a day would not pass without you moving around. You don't have to go to the gym. That's the funny thing. A lot of people think fitness is where you go to the gym, when you do this, when you do. No, just 30 minutes stroll in a day will do you some good. And the funny thing is that as time goes on, you might find the 30 minutes very short. You can decide to increase it to 1 hour, 10K steps a day, 8K steps a day. It's not you just walking. You might think, oh, you are walking, it's your legs that is feeling it. No, it's not just your legs, your heart, your body, everything. So I will try to wrap it up and just go to the major things. For hypertension, there are complications that can occur because you might think, oh, it's just BP and this. Let me tell you the things that high blood pressure can lead to if not managed properly, if not looked after properly. So these are life-threatening illnesses, stroke. And the funny thing is, one thing about hypertension is it does not give you any symptoms. They used to call it silent killer. That's the slang that medicals call it. They will call it silent killer because you might not have headache. In fact, when you are hypertensive and you start having headache, then it's already late. It's as bad as that. So hypertension, they are silent killers. You won't know you have it unless you check your BP. So that's why you have to check your BP, not out of fear, but just knowing your numbers to keep you informed. So the life-threatening illnesses include stroke. We have stroke. This is sudden lack of blood flow to your brain, because normally our body is like circulatory system, blood goes everywhere. So now what happens in stroke is there is no more blood in the brain. And whether you like it or not, our brain is like a part of neurological function. That's too much grammar. What I mean is that your brain does a lot of work in connection to your arm, your legs, your body, how you move your body. So stroke means the person will be paralyzed. So high blood pressure means the blood is not going where it's not going where it's supposed to go. Then it ends in stroke. There is not enough supply of blood or oxygen to a part of the brain, ends in stroke. Then we have different what's it called? Different illnesses. One of it is heart damage. There are cardiovascular diseases that it can also cause, like heart attack. Some people will say, oh, the person just had heart attack, oh, and oh, they need Egbabelo. Sorry, I'm a Yoruba lady. That's why I had to impute that. So heart damage, heart attack is severe lack of blood flow to the heart, because the heart is not getting enough blood supply as it should. So there's another part of heart failure that is called acute heart failure, heart attack rather, that is called acute heart failure. This means that the heart cannot pump effectively. For example, someone that is living a sedentary lifestyle that does not move, your blood is not circulating well through your system. That means you are teaching your heart not to pump well. So you are not exercising the heart to do its job well. So the heart will relax and it will not pump well. And as a result, the fluid that's supposed to go where it's supposed to go, it will not go there. It will be like, oh, I'm supposed to head forward, but this fluid will go backwards. So, and when something that's supposed to move forward goes backwards, then there is a problem. So another thing it can cause is angina. They call it angina pectoris. But another name for angina pectoris is severe chest pain. So now, if somebody has a high blood pressure and the person already has chest pain, that means that it's already far gone. That means the person had high blood pressure a very long time ago, but the person has not been checking. It's as simple as that. And this can also lead to kidney damage. There are a lot of kidney failures that is as a result of high blood pressure. Not all of them, in most cases. Because this heart that we are talking about, this blood pressure we are talking about, is connected to every part of the body. Respiratory, digestive, what's it called? Reproductive, and a lot of things. So God that made us, He made us whole. Every organ is connected to another. So no organ is standing on its own and saying, oh, I can function alone. So once the heart starts shutting down, automatically every other organ will follow. It's like, oh, we are together. Nobody is going anywhere without another. It's as simple as that. So there is kidney damage. There is even eye damage. I remember when I was working in the eye clinic, a lot of people come with eye problems. They want to complain about their eyes, and we check their blood pressure, and their blood pressure is over the roof. Some people you'll be hearing 190, 110. And you're like, man, your blood pressure is what is causing this eye. Just go and take care of the high blood pressure first. In fact, when you take care of the high blood pressure, there is very little that the medicals can do as regards the eyes. It might just be glasses you need or even eye drop. So this high blood pressure that we're talking about, it contributes to a lot of illnesses that we can't begin to mention every part of our body. Because as we have blood pressure, we have ice pressure. So is the blood the same ice? There is blood there. It's just that we cannot see it. So if your blood pressure is high, it affects the eyes. It can lead to loss of vision. It can lead to bleeding in the eyes. A lot of things. So another type of hypertension is what we call pregnancy-induced hypertension. So I don't know if any of us have heard of cases where a pregnant woman, they would say, oh, this person does not have high blood pressure before pregnancy, but all of a sudden in pregnancy, this person already has hypertension. So what that means is, as a result of pregnancy, the blood pressure went up. because it's the pregnancy, it's as explanatory as that. And now this pregnancy induced hypertension can be in two phases. There's what we call preeclampsia and eclampsia. That's actually big English, but what I mean is this preeclampsia and eclampsia is a life-threatening condition that it can cause the death of the mother and even the death of the baby. Is that bad? And it can lead to seizure, convulsion, proteinuria. There will be protein in the woman's urine, and as a result, it can lead to even kidney failure, a lot of things that we can't begin to mention. And in some women, we notice that they have swollen feet. They call it pit or pida edema. So edema, where something is swollen. So if, for example, you have a pregnant woman around you and you notice their feet is swollen, from this class, let me tell you something you can do for them. Once you notice the pregnant woman's feet is swollen, just press that part that is swollen. Press it down. So if the place goes deep, please advise that pregnant woman to go to the nearest hospital. If that place goes deep and does not come back up immediately, please, whether it comes back up or not, a pregnant woman with a swollen feet is an indication for high blood pressure. So that pregnant woman should go to the nearest hospital, because most of these cases does not require these women going through labor, because going through labor can cause a lot of things I can't begin to mention here. In most cases, they have to go through CS, a lot of things like that. So I will leave it as that. So there is eclampsia and severe preeclampsia. So I've mentioned things that can cause convulsion, edema, and we've lost a lot of pregnant women as a result of high blood pressure. For you to know how serious it is. Then we also have drug-induced hypertension. See, this drug-induced hypertension is not these regular drugs that you are taking. No. I'll give example. Hard drugs like cocaine, amphetamines. See, you see, you've heard a lot of hard drugs like cocaine, marijuana, a lot of them. These things can cause high blood pressure and it's not good. And even smoking in itself, and whether you like it or not, even alcohol, drinking of alcohol, it does damage to your liver. And now, when your liver is being affected, it's not functioning the way it should, it begins to affect every other organ in your body. So, like I said earlier, all these organs, they are interwoven. No one is standing alone and say, oh, I can function alone without this person. So, if God forbid your liver fails today, you cannot last long. Your kidney fails today, you cannot last long. Your heart fails today, you cannot. So, every other thing will shut down alongside with the organ that is not functioning well. I hope we are clear. So I will try to wrap it up right now. I will give an example. So my mom once had hypertensive emergency, and her blood pressure was 210, 100 or 108. I can't remember the exact figure. So I know no one has asked yet. I'm giving my mom as an example so that you can know that hypertension can be managed. And how can it be managed? Prescribed drugs from the doctors, and then the diet that I mentioned earlier, then exercise. And when I say diet, like low sodium, there are a lot of times that Zobo helps too. Like these are natural, what is it called now? Phenomenon. So natural things that you can use, like Zobo, bananas, it is high in potassium, so it can help reduce high blood pressure. And please, pregnant women cannot drink Zobo. Please don't go and prescribe Zobo for a pregnant woman. So it's a contraindication. So an elderly person that does not have any, that is not on any life-threatening medication can use Zobo, can take Zobo alongside with their medication. So yes, high blood pressure can be managed, but it can be managed for a lifetime. There is no permanent cure to it. So any elderly person that starts using high blood pressure drugs, antihypertensive drugs, that elderly person has to continue until the day they die. So that's the cons in antihypertensive drugs. So why go through the stress when you can actually prevent high blood pressure from happening in the first place? So the saying that prevention is better than cure is actually a very accurate saying, because if you can prevent it from a young age, then you are doing yourself a lot of good, rather than when you get to 50 and at 50 you've started anti-hypertensive drugs. You don't know how many years are going to spend in this life. Say like 30 years, 40 years more, as the case may be. So you have to be on antihypertensive for 30 years of your life. It's not easy to take drugs every single day. So it is not easy. So the best bet is from a very young age, know your numbers, know your BP numbers. Then put it at the back of your mind that the normal range is 120/80, systolic, diastolic. 120/80. Then it can be lower. The least is 90/60 as a young adult. So if your BP is lower than 90/60, then you should go see the doctor, because that can be hypotension. Like I said, hypotension is as dangerous as hypertension. In fact, they have the same complications, like even stroke, fainting, dizziness, shock, a lot of things. So people actually die as a result of hypotension. Are we together, please? Are we together? Yes, inculcate exercise into your lifestyle. See, exercise is not age based, it's not gender based, it is not too early. It can never be too early. That's the truth. It can never be too early, and you can never be too late too. Even though you're already on BP drugs, antihypertensive, you can still start doing your exercise. And I've seen cases where people that started antihypertensive drugs, that they are supposed to be using it daily, but because there was a progression, like a very good prognosis, their BP was getting normal. So instead of stopping the drug, the doctors would tell them to start using it alternate days. So instead of every day, you can actually get to a point where you can now take your medications. Like maybe you use it on Monday, you don't use it on Tuesday, then use it on Wednesday. So before a patient actually even get to that point, that means there must have been like a certain amount of progress for you to actually get to a point where your doctor is telling you, oh, you can now use alternate days. And there are some persons that they will tell them, oh, 2 days interval. So that has been the only progressive thing as regards antihypertensive drugs so far for elderly people and even young ones on antihypertensive. Even as a young person, I don't see any reason why you should be on antihypertensive, because why? What are you thinking about? Hmm? We understand everything is not like well with our country, but you have to take it easy on yourself. And it is only with good health that you can enjoy this life, do more work, and actually get to enjoy the fruit of your labor. So, what are we saying? So, what is the essence of working all the shifts or doing 9 to 5, entrepreneurship, everything, everything? And at the end of the day, the reward comes, then you have to spend that money on drugs. So, there is no point. So, please, your blood pressure, know your numbers. You are not too young, you are not too old to know your numbers and know the range and know what they means. You already know 120/80 is normal. Below 90/60 is not normal. Above 130 is not normal. So hypertensive and hypotensive, they are both deadly. Hypotension and hypertension, rather, they are both deadly. So if you have questions, I would give room for that now so that we can quickly attend to it. I would be waiting. Please let me know how many low blood pressure. Okay. You said I did not talk much about low blood pressure and which is more deadly. Yes. Okay, so let me read the question out loud for everyone. You did not talk much about low blood pressure and which is more deadly, high blood pressure or low blood pressure. Both are deadly. Both high blood pressure, look, they have the same complications, the same danger. Stroke can happen in high blood pressure. Stroke can happen in low blood pressure. Fainting, dizziness, headache, shock, everything, paralysis can happen in both low and high. So the how do I explain this? It's just like the force at which the heart is pumping blood through your body is high. If it's too high, there is danger. If it's too low, there is danger. So it's just same thing. Then you talked about swollen feet for some pregnant women. What about an elderly person who isn't pregnant but woke up to a swollen feet? What do you think? Yes. So for an elderly person that woke up to a swollen feet, it did not just happen overnight. So this elderly person needs to be taken to the hospital. Their BP needs to be checked, number one. Then number two, they need to check their sugar level. Because like I was saying some things about how these things are interwoven. For every hypertensive patient, there is a very high chance that they will be diabetic. Not all the time, like out of 100% of the time, about 80% of these cases, for every elderly person that has hypertension, there is a very high chance they might be diabetic. So in the hospital, we have a lot of cases, they call it diabetic foot, diabetic ulcer. That is when somebody will have small wound on the foot, on the feet, and before you know it, the feet will not get the speedy and fast recovery, like speedy healing as it's supposed to be, because the diabetes, the high amount of sugar in the blood would not allow it to get healed fast. So this elderly person that is not pregnant, that woke up to the swollen feet, should be taken to the hospital for assessment. That is edema, and they need to know the cause of that edema. It could be as a result of high blood pressure or even high blood sugar. So it can be high blood pressure, high blood sugar, and it might be either of the two. So if it is high blood sugar, the person needs to get on anti-diabetic drugs as soon as possible. So somebody said, how about 108 over 55? Well, it's still normal, but your diastolic, like we said, like 55. 55 is your diastolic, and in most cases, systolic is easier to manage than the diastolic. So, and a one-time check for BP, how do I explain this? If you check your BP once and it is low, it is too low or too high, I don't think there is a room for you to panic yet. You can check again in a space of 1 week. If you are getting the same numbers, then you should go to the hospital, because sometimes there are factors that influences these numbers. For example, I just finished trekking a long distance. Say I trekked for 1 hour, and immediately I sat down, I'm checking my blood pressure. My blood pressure will be high. My pulse will be high because I'm yet to relax and actually breathe. If you've been to an hospital before where they want to check your vitals and you're just entering, they will tell you, can you sit for some minutes? That's them telling you they need you to relax before they check your BP. Because any numbers you are going to get when you just walked in without relaxing is going to be false. It's not going to be accurate. It's not going to be your resting blood pressure. I don't know if you get that. I don't know if you get that. So it's not going to be your true blood pressure. So for you to actually determine if I have low blood pressure or if I have high blood pressure, you need to check at least 3 times to be sure that okay, I've been getting 76 check 3 times before you know that, oh, I need to go to the hospital. Cases like, say, I was saying something about 130 something, but if you are getting numbers like 170, 180, please, you don't even have to check 2 times or 3 times. Just go straight. That's what they call hypertensive emergency. So just go straight to the hospital. If you are getting numbers lower than 9062, please go to the hospital. So the person that adds 108, 108 over 55, the person might still have to check again, because there's a very high chance that by the time you check again, your diastolic, that 55 would have increased. So, yeah, I hope I answered your question. If someone has low blood pressure, what should be done? Like I just said, you have to be sure that you have low blood pressure. So after you check once, you check the second time, and it's still extremely low, you need to see a doctor. The lifestyle modifications that you can do are just the things I mentioned. Because the more you exercise, your blood pressure should increase. When you exercise, your blood pressure should increase. When you eat your fruits, your vegetables, you take minimal salt, your blood pressure should increase. So if you have done all these things and your blood pressure is still static below 90/60 for low blood pressure, then you should see a doctor. There are actually things that can be done medically wise aside from eating, exercising, and a lot of things. Yeah. Somebody said swollen legs as a result after a long time sitting for work is caused by, that's what I just said, sedentary lifestyle. If you are sitting in one place, your legs will be swollen. Your legs will be swollen if you sit in one place. So if you're someone that works like remotely, say you work 8 hours in a day, for every 2 hours, you can take 10 minutes walk within your environment, like within where you are sitting. Just stand up after 2 hours, exercise your legs for 10 minutes and go back to your work. So that is you helping yourself. Your leg will not be swollen if you take breaks like that. 10 minutes after 2 hours, another 10 minutes after 2. Before you know, you've exercised for 30, 40 minutes without too much stress. So is what's it called? The swollen leg is as a result of sitting for a long time, like you said. The result of sitting for a long time. If you don't move your body, then you're not helping your heart. You're not helping your organs. So I hope I answered your questions. I hope I answered
Wow.
your questions. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Christiana Opemikosi. In fact, it's
Yeah.
actually a knowledgeable session. You know, high blood pressure and low blood pressure is actually a topic that we cannot even exhaust for 24 hours. It's actually a very critical topic. We're so grateful for this enlightening session this evening. In fact, I've learned a whole lot. Systolic, diastolic, you know, denominator and numerator. I just use that to remember. So for me, the mantra for the day is service your body. Just like you said, the heart does not stop working. Once the heart takes a break, God forbid. So why wouldn't we just help ourselves? Help the heart by taking a regular exercise. Healthy diet is the key. You know, prevention is actually the best cure. So thank you so much for this session once again. I want us all to use our favorite emojis for our facilitator to appreciate wonderful time she has spent with us. Okay, from the chat box, everyone said yes, means you've answered their questions correctly. Thank you so much, everyone. Now for today, we've actually overspent our time by a few minutes, so let me just quickly wrap up the session this evening. As we come to the end of today's enlightening session, I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to our speakers. You know, listening to the body, to our body, is actually very important. Our body actually sends us signals. They give us insights into our daily life. And if we take informed decisions, help us make informed decisions. When you take decisions on time, they actually prevent a whole lot. So our sincere appreciation goes to our speakers for sharing their knowledge, their insights, and practical perspectives on this important theme. What your symptoms say about your health? Today's discussion has actually reminded us all that our bodies are constantly communicating with us. Listening to our body can guide us in taking timely actions, seek appropriate care, and make healthier choices. To everyone, thank you for your active engagement. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for making this session very engaging. Your presence is highly appreciated. As we commemorate World Health Day, let us carry this message we've learned here forward, all the knowledge we've gained here. Just like our father advocate said, you don't need to have everything to make an impact. Look at your neighbor, the next door neighbor, what you feel you can do for that little girl to help her menstrual health. You can offer the knowledge you've gained here to your neighbors. We all appreciate your presence this evening. Then on behalf of the organizing team, BBT Foundation, on behalf of our convener and founder of BBT Foundation, Lubimi Otite, Fred Otite, we say thank you once again for joining us. Please do enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. With that, to come to the close of today's session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the love. Truly appreciate. Bye, everyone.